So my question to you is, in every relationship, should we set boundaries?
Boundaries are set by the universe. When you were born in a particular location, you were born to a particular family, you were born to a particular country. So you're already within the boundaries. I mean, you're not free to go out of India unless you have proper documents. So you're already in a boundary. You're not free to live in your neighbor's house. Your house is a boundary. Yeah. So boundaries are natural barriers. So there is nothing wrong as far as boundaries are concerned. The problem comes in recognizing boundaries. Now, I'm giving you a stark example of a house where the boundary is visible.
Yeah, that's a geographical boundary.
Yeah, it's a physical boundary.
Yeah, it's a physical boundary.
So I know that this is the limit up to which I can go, and beyond this, I'm not allowed. But when it comes to intellectual boundaries and emotional boundaries, they are not tangible. You can't see them. You can't visualize them.
True.
And there is a tendency to encroach. A mother encroaches on a child's personal space and the child doesn't feel offended. ये टाई बराबर नहीं पहनी, टाई ठीक से पहन, ये तूने कफलिंग बराबर नहीं लगाई, ठीक से लगा, जूते की लेस नहीं लगाई, ठीक से लगा. The mother will reprimand the child or even tend to do it herself, encroaching on the child's personal space. The child will not mind. Yeah, it is part and parcel of the mother and child bond. Imagine that same mother doing it for the husband. ये तू तेरा काम कर, मैं टाई कैसा पहनने का मैं संभालूंगा, मैं जूते का लेस कैसे लगाने का मैं संभालूंगा. You don't interfere there. It's my business. Activity is same. Target audience is different, and therefore you feel that I have encroached on his space. And with the child, I have not encroached. But so it is the conditioning of the mind. Ki where do you, now that same child grows up, now tomorrow he is a college going student, and suppose he is wearing a torn jean, and the mother says, jean nikal ke de, main sila ke deti hu. Like, pagal hai kya, ye fashion hai. So you're not allowed to encroach on my fashions. School में फटी हुई पैंट अलाउ नहीं करेगी माँ, सिला के दूंगी. अभी तू बड़ा हो गया, फटी जीन्स पहनता है, ठीक है, it is my space, don't interfere.
True, but the example of a husband, now what you say that wife is encroaching on his space, in some cases, the wife feels that that's her way of expressing love, going out of her way to do something for
It's
him.
a very funny way of expressing love.
Why? There are people who want to be very giving. They want to do everything for a person.
हाँ, but give in a loving manner. You're talking of love and you're taking out a talwar and saying, I love you. And that's not loving.
That's the point I'm coming to. So who decides the boundary for this husband and wife in terms of this aspect?
They
Correct.
themselves.
But then that's where the clashes start coming in.
The clashes will happen.
So
when two vessels are together, there is a chance of a noise happening. Now, am I going to make a mountain out of a molehill? Am I going to make that vessel clashing appear to be an atomic bomb exploding? Now that I am stretching it a bit too far.
No, so I think we are not still on the topic then. Then what exactly is building a boundary in relationships?
You don't build boundaries. The minute you say boundaries, then you have a demarcated thus far and no further. There is always going to, when you go to a beach side and you're watching the waves coming, can you say waves can come only up to this point and not beyond? No, sometimes the waves will come more. I have never seen waves come right up to this wall. This is the first time I'm seeing the waves. Haven't we had this experience?
But here again, see, there are some people who can never say no to anything.
That's their personality.
True. And because of that, then they encroach other people's space. It appears that they are trying to overdo for somebody. And
that
then
also happens.
Says, don't encroach my space.
It's called micromanagement. Don't micromanage. कौन से रंग का टाई पहनने का, leave it to me. You don't tell me कौन से रंग का टाई पहनने.
Correct. So this don't micromanage is also like a boundary set by that person.
हाँ, but then again it is individualistic and it changes from time to time.
Correct, but
I must understand that this is not the time to push and this is the time to retract.
so
That ability has to be cultivated, and it can only be cultivated in relationships. It cannot be cultivated outside relationships, because if I'm meeting a new client or a new customer, I don't know what makes him tick and
exactly.
what he doesn't like.
Yes.
So I push till I realize, okay, thus far and no further. Then I retract.
Correct.
Same thing happens in a relationship where I take most of the things for granted. With a customer, I am wary. With an outsider, I am wary. So I know that let me try and push. Let me see whether I can.
In today's trending things that I hear, a husband and wife both working, get back home, and the husband declares 50%, and the wife says 20%. This percentage has been determined on how their day has been. So he says he's now only capable of taking in, 50% is his limit, and the wife has set her limit.
Okay.
So what do you have to say to this? Isn't this a good idea actually? Like that they are setting boundaries, and this is the level I'm okay with.
It's a methodology. It's a technique, you can say, adopted by, as you say, the current generation to let the partner know what is his level of tolerance, right? Now, if you go back to your grandmother's days, the grandmother would look at the grandfather walking into the house, and from the face and the body language, she would understand that he's already at 20.
Had a bad day, yeah.
He's had a bad day. So, aaj mat jao. Or if you ask me, we had a boss in the place where I worked, and by looking at the color of his shirt, we could make out कि आज इसके ऑफिस में जाने का है कि नहीं जाना, हाँ, because आज ये शर्ट पहना है, तो
Stay away.
he is not going to sanction any of our requests that we go to him with.
We call it a yes day and a no day.
Yes, a yes day and a no day. So what you're saying is fine. I mean, as long as that only shows that you have not integrated in that relationship where I have to say that I am at 50% or 20%, and I have not integrated with you if you have to tell me that you are at 20%. Okay, be that as it may. Fine, it works. What it only tells you is that I can be a smart guy and come home every day and tell you 20. And then where does it lead us? Hey, every day you come and tell me 20, and every day I am supposed to be the 80 and doing most of the household work, and you will come and just plonk on the sofa and watch TV and expect me to serve you tea and snacks. So again you are going into that clash situation. Yeah, what you have recommended is a tool which can probably be adopted by people who are insensitive, who do not know how to read the partner's body language or tone of voice or countenance and so on and so forth. If it works, it works. Otherwise, you're talking of a relationship. When you're talking of a relationship, you're not talking of an outsider. You're not talking of a boss. You're not talking of your colleague or a client or a shopkeeper or a customer. You're talking of a person you are living with. If you are not able to gauge your person, you're not having a relationship, basically. Then you're not really talking of a relationship. I can always say that every time I come home, the first thing you tell me, आज ट्यूबलाइट नहीं चल रही है, वो बिल नहीं आया, कल जाके ये बिल, अरे अभी तो मैं घर में आया हूँ, let me at least sit down, remove my shoes and socks, take a wash, come and sit, let me have a glass of water, let me have a cup of tea, you don't serve, I will get it served myself. But let me first sit and relax in the house. आते आते 4 काम कल के लिए ऑलरेडी तुम्हारे हिट लिस्ट में है. कल तुमको इधर जाना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, मेरा प्रिंट आउट करना है, मेरा कंप्यूटर नहीं चल रहा है, मेरा मोबाइल का बिल भरने का है. So what are you doing?
You're disrespecting.
No, you are only being selfish.
Yeah, correct.
कि आपका जो चीज है वो पहला मेरा बोझ उठा के तेरे सर पे डालो. तेरा सर वो बोझ उठाने का कैपेसिटी में है कि नहीं, आई एम नॉट बॉदर्ड. आई अनबर्डन माई सेल्फ. सो व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग ऑफ अ रिलेशनशिप, टेक्निक्स कैन वेरी and they can vary with time. It has always existed that there will be stressful conditions, there will be easy conditions. The best solution is When you change the environment from office to house or from kitchen to living room, dump your problems behind and blend with the environment you are in. And this is expected. I mean, if you are a marketing executive and if you go to a particular client, the way you have your sales pitch or your sales talk is different when you go to another client. Because you will tailor your sales pitch according to that client.
Need of the client. Yeah.
Take domestic servants at home. The way you talk to your 𝗕𝗏𝗂𝗍𝗂𝗧 and the way you talk to your top work manservant are two different ways. Both are servants. They are serving you. They are paid servants. But your approach to your 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗍𝗂 is different from your approach to the 𝗕𝗶𝗂𝗧𝗏𝗏. Why? You have blended with their environment. 𝗕𝗏 काम वाली बाई नहीं आएगी my टेंशन में. झाड़ू पोछा मेरे पास वैक्यूम क्लीनर है, आई कैन मैनेज झाड़ू पोछा. अरे घर की काम वाली बाई नहीं आई तो प्रॉब्लम है. खाना कौन बनाएगा? So I am adjusting according to the environment. The same logic applies. You were in your office environment, you were frustrated by whatever situations you faced during the day. In the office, you were at 20%. घर में आके, how dare you say you are 20%? You are coming to the comfort of your home. The minute you step into your house, you should be recharged too, because you are plugged in to a comfort zone. So you should be recharged to 70, 80. Why are you saying 20? 20 was in the office.
So you mean leave all that crap?
Yes.
Enter with a fresh.
Yes.
Okay.
You are sitting comfortably in a living room. Now you are going by a Mumbai local where 100 people are squeezing you. Are you not adjusting to that environment? Are you not fitting into that? I am comfortably sitting in a sofa. 5 minutes ago I was in a sofa. 5 minutes later I am being squeezed. Are you grumbling? No, you have adjusted to the environment. So adjust to the environment, which we are not doing. We are unwilling to do, and therefore the clashes. See, when you talk of relationships, you can't talk in terms of mathematical equations. Relationships are not mathematics. Relationships are humanity. And unfortunately, we are trying to make humanity scientific.
Calculated everything.
It can't be calculated. It cannot be put into definite shapes. Triangle hai, triangle mein bithao. Circle hai, circle mein bithao. No. They will interchange. And that is why we are humans. We are humans with a different level of intellect. We should be able to decipher that this is not done in the house. I was yelling in my factory. I have come to the house. That same yelling person should not come to the house. And I was lackadaisical in the house. The lackadaisical person should not go to the factory. I should be at a different level of alertness. So relationships should be understood as relationship. That's why they are called, I relate with somebody. I'm not an individual, but I relate with somebody and behave like an individual. That is the issue.